we are going to start a new chapter. I already sent you a video. I hope you have watched it, because unless you watched it, today's video may be a bit confusing for you, because other than last year and then the biomolecules special link in the video. Alright, if you have not watched it, stop this video, go watch that video, then come back and watch it. Alright, so we are starting the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. Last chapter it was Principles of Inheritance and Variation. There we came across Mendel's factors, later on the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Genes are the materials or substances which carry the information for next generation. And we also came to know that these genes are present on the chromosomes. Now at that time they could not give a clear-cut idea about the structure of this chromosome or what this particular chromosome is made up of. ഈ മെന്റലിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഇൻവെൻഷൻ ഡിസ്കവറി കഴിഞ്ഞതിന് ശേഷമാണ് പല ആൾക്കാരും ആ ഒരു ഫീൽഡിലേക്ക് അവരുടെ വർക്ക് തുടങ്ങിയത്. അങ്ങനെ a lot of people came forward and finally it was identified that DNA is the genetic material in our body. DNA is the genetic material in our body. In almost majority of the organisms we see around us, the genetic material is DNA. With a few exceptions that some organisms, like for example the viruses, have their genetic material as RNA. RNA. So DNA and RNA are the genetic materials which is found in living organisms. Alright. Now what is this DNA and RNA? DNA and RNA are nothing but nucleic acids. They are biomolecules. Nucleic acids. What are these nucleic acids made up of? Nucleic acids are polymers of nucleotides. They are polymers of nucleotides. Now if you take the structure of a nucleotide, nucleotide has three parts: a nitrogenous base, a sugar moiety and the phosphate group. These are nucleotide different parts. The sugar moiety differs in DNA and RNA. In case of DNA, the sugar moiety is deoxyribose. Whereas in case of RNA, it is ribose sugar. Even the difference in the ribose sugar second carbon position, there is a OH group. Whereas in case of deoxyribose, second position, our oxygen group is removed and only a hydrogen group is present. That is DNA and RNA main in their sugar moieties. Okay, today in this chapter we will be mainly focusing upon DNA as a genetic material and also its molecular structure. Molecular structure is very deeply molecules in the exact structure molecular structure. There are a lot of cases like terms has come across you: genes, genome, DNA, chromosome, chromatin. Now, chromosome is a term in the normal theory part which carry the information for next generation. Chromosome is a term. Chromosome is the region which contains the main information. Our regions are genes. Genes are the unit of inheritance. Cell is a unit of an organism. In a chromosome, gene is a unit of inheritance. Okay, but the term DNA is used when we are trying to describe the structure of this particular chromosome. This chromosome what is it made up of? DNA term. Okay, and DNA is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribose sugar nucleic acid. Okay. Nitrogen bases. Last year there are 4 nitrogen bases. There are 5 basic nitrogen bases. These can be put into 2 groups: purines and pyrimidines. Purines are double-ringed structures. Pyrimidines are single-ringed structures. Example of purine is adenine and guanine. Example of pyrimidine is thymine, cytosine and uracil. Alright. But in pyrimidines, every cases here, it can be either a purine or a pyrimidine. Next comes the phosphate region. Now this phosphate is highly polar. This phosphate, the presence of the phosphate makes the entire nucleotide highly polar and also negatively charged. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ entire DNA എടുത്തു നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ the DNA is negatively charged. The DNA is negatively charged. It is because of the presence of phosphate groups. All right. The nitrogen base is bonded to the sugar moiety via a glycosidic linkage, and the sugar moiety is bonded to the phosphate group via a ester bond or a ester bond. ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് കൂടി ചേരുമ്പോഴാണ് we get a polynucleotide. I told you earlier, nucleic acids are polymers of nucleotides. In the same case, our DNA nu parayumbom it is a polymer of this deoxyribonucleotide. Okay, ഒരുപാട് ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് ഒന്നിച്ച് കമ്പൈൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ we get a polynucleotide. Now how are they combined? നേരത്തെ വീഡിയോ കണ്ട പോലെ phosphate group of one sugar will be bonded to ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു sugar എടുക്കാം, consider sugar. Fifth position they have the phosphate group. Phosphate group bind to the third position of the sugar just above it. Third position. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നേരെ താഴെ fifth position ഉള്ള phosphate group third position ഉള്ള sugar ആയിട്ട് bonding just above them. Alright. അങ്ങനെ 3-5 bonding ആണ് ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു ester bond, ഇവിടെ ഒരു ester bond. So ഇവ രണ്ട് ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് തമ്മിലുള്ള ബോണ്ട് വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് phosphodiester bond. Alright. അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് phosphates കൂടി ചേർന്നിട്ട് nucleotides കൂടി ചേർന്നിട്ട് we have a polynucleotide chain here. But if you carefully look here, once the chain has been formed, a polynucleotide chain has been formed, the topmost nucleotide will have a free phosphate group at the fifth position. This phosphate group is free and it is not bonded to any other nucleotide. Alright, fifth position. In the same way, at the other end, at the opposite end, there will be the sugar at the opposite end having a third position free, and the third position free end. In these two ends, we have two positions free. We call these two ends, we have a specific name has been given to these two ends. This 5 end free is 5 prime. What is it? 5 prime end. This 3 carbon, third carbon free sugar side 3 prime end. So if you take a polynucleotide chain, there are two ends, 5 prime end and 3 prime end. If 5 prime and 3 prime end, they are free. They are not bonded to any other nucleotide. Alright, 5 prime, 3 prime. This is what a DNA in the main number. DNA and RNA I told you earlier. One is the difference in the sugar moiety. RNA has a ribose sugar and DNA has a deoxyribose sugar. In ribose sugar, second position there is an OH group. Apart from that, what difference is there in each other? The nitrogen bases is found in DNA are adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. These are DNA. Whereas in RNA it is adenine, guanine, uracil and cytosine. Thymine uracil is present in case of RNA. Alright, these are the main two differences between RNA and DNA. Now, this DNA as an acidic substance was first discovered by Friedrich Michel. And once he discovered it, he named it as nuclein. What is it? Nuclein. Later on, even though at that time technology advancements in the proper structure cell extract was not possible by them. Because of which it was only by 1953 that James Watson and Francis Crick, based on the X-ray diffraction data produced by Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin, gave the very famous double helix model of DNA. Double helix model of DNA. The X-ray diffraction is nothing but a substance or any particle is taken. It has been X-rays are projected onto it. These X-ray particles are diffracted because of the atoms present on this substance. Our diffraction is a pattern. Our diffraction pattern elucidate they'll get the structure of this one. And the molecular structure that's X-ray diffraction data. It was James Watson and Francis Crick who gave the double helix model, very famous double helix model of DNA. The names which has been given, the names of scientists given in your textbook, the year and what they did, what was their contribution to this is very important. Our പേര് വെച്ചിട്ട് നിങ്ങളോട് ചോദിക്കും, question ചോദിക്കും. Morris Wilkinson, Rosalind Franklin എന്താണ് ചെയ്തത്? So if you don't know the name, it will be difficult for you. There are a lot of names in this textbook, lot of scientists. Okay, so make sure one by one you will learn all of them. Alright. Now, we got the double helix model. Now, according to the double helix model, the DNA is double stranded. 2 polynucleotide chains are there in DNA. So, one we have the 5 to 3 prime. Okay. The next strand is anti-parallel to the first strand. The next strand is anti-parallel. Anti-parallel, they are parallel but running in opposite direction. Okay. So, 2 strands are there in DNA. And the nitrogen bases of the 2 strands are bonded to each other via hydrogen bonds. One polynucleotide chain nitrogen base is bonded or paired with the nitrogen base of the complementary strand or the adjacent strands by weak hydrogen bonds. Here adenine is always paired with thymine, guanine is always paired with cytosine. A, T, G, C. This type of pairing matrame two strands thammil nadakkollu. If keeping that in mind, I am telling you the nitrogen bases present over here is A, T, P, G. You know the nitrogen bases of one strand. It becomes easier to find out what is present on the next strand. A will always base pair with T. T will always base pair with A. T will always base pair with again A. G will base pair with C. Again, if you know the nitrogen base, the sequence of nitrogen base in one strand, it is very easy for you to find out what is present in the next strand. Alright, and I told you hydrogen bond is formed between them. Adenine base pairs with thymine with 2 hydrogen bonds. Guanine base pairs with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. This is marker. Alright, DNA nitrogen bases are only for adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Adenine always base pair with thymine. Guanine always base pairs with cytosine. Adenine and thymine form between them double hydrogen bonds. Guanine and cytosine is bonded by triple hydrogen bonds. Alright, and the 2 strands or the 2 polynucleotide chains are anti-parallel to each other. Alright, there is the third carbon position is empty or free. So this will be the 3' region or 3' end. Here the phosphate group attached to the 5th carbon is free. That is, it is not attached to any other nucleotide. Hence this becomes the 5' end. So in one strand you have 5' to 3', other strand you have 3' to 5'. Okay, 5' you put a small comma apostrophe 5'. 3'. Alright, now let us go back to what James and Watson and Crick found out. അവരുടെ ഡബിൾ ഹെലിക്സ് മോഡലാണ്. Now DNA എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ basically 3 types of DNA are there: aDNA, bDNA and zDNA. aDNA and bDNA are right-handed helix. Double helix model ഉണ്ടെന്നാണ് ഫ്രാൻസിസ് ആൻഡ് ക്രിക്ക് പറഞ്ഞത്. വാട്സൺ ആൻഡ് ക്രിക്ക് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഡബിൾ ഹെലിക്സ് മോഡൽ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഡബിൾ സ്ട്രാൻഡഡ് ആണ്. ദേ ആർ കോയിൽഡ് ഹെലിക്കലി എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു കോയിൽ ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു like this. Yeah, coiled. And the coiling is a right-handed coil. Just imagine I have a spring in between my arms. I am twisting it in the right-handed fashion. Right-handed fashion I am twisting it. Now this becomes a right-handed helix. Alright, so aDNA and bDNA both are having right-handed helix. zDNA is having left-handed helix. Okay, there is also slight differences. aDNA, bDNA, the difference is nitrogen base next nitrogen base distance difference in both aDNA and zDNA. I will give you the notes for that. Now look here, we got the double helix model. Okay, double helix model or double stranded and helically coiled. Now the distance between one complete turn or pitch this is one complete turn. From here to here, this becomes one turn. The distance between this turn is 3.4 nanometer. 3.4 nanometer. ഇനി ഇവിടെ എന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ നൈട്രജൻ ബേസസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നൈട്രജൻ ബേസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നില്ല. We will be saying base pairs. എന്താണ് base pairs? This is one base pair, this is one base pair, this is one base pair, and this is one base pair. Alright, now the distance between one complete turn is 3.4 nanometer, and there are around 10 base pairs in each turn. How many base pairs are there in each turn? 10. And the distance between each base pair, distance between each base pair is 0.34 nanometer. Alright, this is simply put what DNA helical model is. If you have DNA length, if someone is asking to find out the length of DNA of this particular organism, you just have to find out the number of base pairs which is present. Number of base pairs is nothing but equivalent to the length of that particular organism. Okay, if we have humans, we have around 3.3 × 10⁹ base pairs are there. The distance is that much. Alright, now the conclusion or the structure that was proposed by James Watson and Francis Crick was also supported by the discoveries of another scientist, that is Erwin Chargaff. Okay, Erwin Chargaff gave the equivalence rule. And equivalence rule, which states that A is equal to T. The number of adenine in a DNA will always be equal to number of thymine, or you can say the number of guanine will always be equal to the number of cytosine. A plus T, A is always equal to T, and T, number of A is always equal to T, and G is equal to C. Or it can be also said A plus G is equal to T plus C. This shows that the number of purines is always equal to number of pyrimidines in a DNA. A is purine, T is pyrimidine. For A is equal to T, number of purines is always equal to number of pyrimidines. or it can be also written as A plus G, which are two purines, is equal to T plus C, or A plus C is equal to T plus G. A adenine, adenine thymine same ആണ്, cytosine guanosine same ആണ് number. So it means that A is to T plus G is to C. It always be equal to 1 is to 1. And A divided by T is to G divided by C is equal to 1. Equivalence to given by Erwin Shafak. അതുകൂടെ മനസ്സിലായപ്പോഴത്തേക്കും this DNA helical model was much more easier. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞത് A T T A G C ഒരു ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് ചെയിനെ പറ്റി നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ മറ്റേ ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് ചെയിൻ നമുക്ക് ഈസിലി ഫൈൻഡ് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഓൾറൈറ്റ്, ഈ രണ്ട് സ്ട്രാൻഡ്സിനെ we can say that they are complementary to each other. Complementary എന്ന് പറയാൻ കാരണം ഒന്നുമല്ല, A I told you always base pairs with T, G always base pair with C. അതുകൊണ്ട് it is very easy to predict the second polynucleotide chain if you know the sequences which is present in the first polynucleotide chain. Now just imagine I have a DNA strand. I want to make a second strand of it. If I know the sequence of one strand, don't you think it is easy for me to find out the next strand? This A, T, T, G, C, C, A. Appa next strand എന്തായിരിക്കും? T, A, C, G, T, T. These are called as complementary strands. But in future, 5 prime, 3 prime എന്താണെന്ന് കേട്ടാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവണം. Complementary strands എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താണെന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവണം. Alright, ഇത്രയും മനസ്സിലായിരുന്നു. Please take your textbook, page number 97. The salient features of double helix structure of DNA are as follows. It is made up of 2 polynucleotide chain where the backbone is constituted by sugar phosphate and the bases project inside. Second point, the 2 chains have anti-parallel polarity. 2 chains are anti-parallel. One runs 5 to 3 and the other has 3 to 5 polarity. The bases in 2 strands are paired through hydrogen bond forming base pairs. Adenine forms 2 hydrogen bonds with thymine from opposite strand and vice versa. Guanine is bonded with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. As a result, a purine comes opposite to a pyrimidine. This generates approximately uniform distance between the 2 strands of the helix. ഇത് കാരണം always there is almost uniform distance between. കാരണം ഒരു pyrimidine ഉണ്ട്, ഒരു purine ഉണ്ട്. ഒരെണ്ണം double ringed ആണെങ്കിൽ മറ്റേത് single ringed ആണ്. Always a purine is bonded with the pyrimidine. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഓരോ പ്രാവശ്യം ഓരോ ബേസ് പെയർ ഓരോ ന്യൂക്ലിയോടൈഡ് രണ്ട് ചെയിനിൽ കമ്പൈൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ the distance becomes equal. അല്ലാണ്ട് ഒരു ബേസ് പെയർ പ്യൂറിന് അടുത്ത ബേസ് പെയർ പ്യൂറിന് pyrimidine, അതിൻ്റെ അടുത്തത് pyrimidine ആണെങ്കിൽ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഡിഫറൻസ് വരുന്നുണ്ട് രണ്ടും തമ്മിൽ. പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ ആ പ്രശ്നമില്ല, ബിക്കോസ് purine is always base pair with pyrimidine. The 2 chains are coiled in a right-handed fashion. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു right-handed helix ആണ്. The pitch എന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല, one complete turn ആണ്. Pitch is 3.4 nanometer and there are roughly 10 base pairs in each turn. Consequently, the distance between a base pair in a helix is approximately 0.34. ഒരു ബേസ് പെയറും അടുത്ത ബേസ് പെയറും തമ്മിലുള്ള ഡിഫറൻസ് 0.34. ഒരു കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ടേണിൽ 10 ബേസ് പെയർസ്. 0.34 into 10 എത്രയാണ്? 3.4 നാനോമീറ്റർ. Alright. The plane of one base pair stacks above the other in double helix. This, in addition to hydrogen bond, confers stability to the helical model. Even in the right-handed helix, ഓരോ ബേസ് പെയറും അടുത്ത ബേസ് പെയറിനും only equally aligned ആണ്. ഒരു particular axis is maintained. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ സ്ട്രക്ചറിന് സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി കിട്ടാൻ കാരണം. Now, after all this, after finding out that this particular double helix structure of DNA provides all the evidence that DNA is the genetic material because it is stable and can be dependent. അതുകൊണ്ട് after that, Francis Crick came forth with a central dogma. Central dogma of molecular biology എന്താന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ DNA becomes RNA, RNA becomes protein. This is exactly what happens in the body. Short the whole process which happens in your body has been put in short as central dogma given by Francis Crick. Central dogma stating that DNA first makes a replica of itself by a process called as replication. Then it is converted into RNA, which acts as a messenger of carrying the information further. And that process is called as transcription. Changing of DNA into RNA is called as transcription. Conversion of RNA into protein is called as translation. Each process is a very distinct process but very important one. Alright, any changes or any abnormalities in any of these steps or any of the steps will cause mutation and can affect the human or any organism very severely. Alright, meet you in the next section.